Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is CR, and as I always say, especially for this video, if you do not like what I say, how I say it, or why I say it, then please do feel free to click off this video and go about the rest of your day in peace. So this is going to be a very honest sort of discussion video because I've been doing a lot of reflecting on what I've learned and experienced within the last 3 years, starting back in 2019 to our present 2022. I mean, I'm sure we've all had some crazy experiences living through a little world on fire. The age of Aquarius has certainly been rocking us in radical, transformational ways, both good and bad, honestly. And in this time frame, I've gone through many transformations myself, both personally and within the sphere of my public work here on the internet. I started publicly reading and doing tarot pick-a-cards here on YouTube in March of 2019 after having just graduated with my BA in Art and Art History from my university. A huge milestone for me and something I worked very hard to achieve. Something I was and am very proud of, but certainly did come with some tough challenges. But I met my goal and I was done with school, with absolutely no fucking idea what to do next. I didn't know what I wanted beyond graduation because ultimately I didn't really know who I was at the time. I hadn't really come out of my shell, so to speak. I've definitely come out of my shell a lot more now, and it is in part thanks to starting this wild phase of my YouTube channel into the realm of tarot. I've always been surrounded by the ideas of magic, and I got my first tarot deck at a very young age, but I wasn't always consistently involved with it. But I think that's kind of how tarot works, especially for me personally. I think it finds you when you need it most to help with your inner personal evolution. So some things I've learned doing tarot in 3 years on YouTube and beyond, and this is again just my personal experience and observations. First and foremost, tarot is about psychology, not predicting the future. Now, when I say that, that's not to say that tarot can't predict the future, but it's really not the cards that are doing that, it's you. You are tapping into a future outcome, but that outcome is not set in stone just because you see it in the cards. You have to create that outcome. Tarot really reveals a lot about someone's mental state and emotions through how they associate with a message and imagery. And unfortunately, one of the most frustrating things I've seen in 3 years of doing this is that a lot of individuals just don't actually want to do the work to make the positive outcomes happen for them. They want sunshine and rainbow answers, but completely ignore the rain clouds that have to happen first. And no, I'm not saying this is everyone, of course not, but it's enough that I've noticed it. In that same vein, I've seen a lot of people who just want to hear the message they want, not necessarily the one they truly need, which is kind of ironic since in the case of general pick-a-cards, which is obviously what I've done a lot of here on my YouTube, they choose to listen to that message. I've had some very unsettled individuals actually contact me being offended, to put it lightly, by a pile they chose in a general pick-a-card. And that's how my customary intro came to be. And I've had people take offense to that as well, trying to tell me how I should do my videos. But at the same time, I've had even more people absolutely love my kind of no bullshit intro and style, which my heart goes out to all of you. You are the best. You are wonderful. Thank you. And that's a big thing I've also learned. You can't get too consumed with the negative opinions of people or numbers or trying to make everyone like you because that's just not possible. You will always have people who are going to try to shit on your shine. Don't let them ever. It's your life and your vision. Do what feels right to you. Yes, You do need to strike a certain balance of creating content that you know your audience likes and that will keep them engaged. But it's just not possible to keep that up forever when you yourself are human and your wants and your needs are going to change over time, and hence, so will the flavor of your work. And I'm saying that from a creative standpoint, especially, but this really applies to all areas of life, no matter what you're doing. Now, let me talk a little bit about YouTube. I often have been asked for advice on starting, especially a tarot YouTube channel. And honestly, at this point in time, what I would say is this. If you really, really feel excited to do it, sure, go for it. But understand that the popularity of tarot on YouTube has run its course, in my opinion. It blazed glorious for a time, but has essentially fizzled out. Unless you're going to constantly think at least 3 videos a week, and I'm not kidding, like seriously, you're going to do nothing but like soulmate and marriage love readings for the majority of that. And this has been one of the most unhealthy aspects of the tarot community here on YouTube, in my opinion. Yes, everyone deserves and needs love in their life, both from themselves and from others. But the reality is, again, you aren't going to find a love partner by sitting around and binging general love pick-a-cards on YouTube alone in your house. But I'm not going to go any more in depth on my whole frustration with that right now. Love readings are unfortunately one of the only tarot video types that I still see drawing in big viewership, unless, of course, you already have like a super huge channel. The other thing I try to tell anyone who asks me for advice, and I don't care what type of YouTube channel you want to start, do not start YouTube to make money. You start YouTube because you truly enjoy making videos and you want to build a community. People like to think that you start posting videos and once you are monetized, you're just making this huge stream of income. And some people will even get defensive if you talk about doing something to supplement your stream of income, because you have to. Something like Patreon or Etsy, for example. Because there has been this ideal draped around being an influencer that once you start making it big on one platform, suddenly you are making bank. That is so not the case for a normal YouTube channel. You only make a decent amount of money if you have a lot of viewership, and only like 10% of YouTube channels manage to strike gold with that. I will also mention that a lot of those YouTube channels are also at least posting 3 videos a week, if not every single day. Yes, I'm not joking when it comes to that point. So yeah, it's like, it always means that in a lot of ways, when you do this kind of work, individuals who are pumping out huge videos and viewership are definitely sacrificing so much of their personal life and mental health to maintain it. A break is such a rarity in the YouTube industry, and not to mention a huge risk, honestly. Suddenly changing your branding, also a huge risk. It's not a set in stone game. It's ever changing and fluctuating, like all social media. Even though YouTube technically isn't a social media, at least not like in the way that Twitter or Instagram is. And when I say this, I really don't want to discourage anyone from starting their own channel. You can do it, and I believe in you all, but I want you to have an honest understanding that it takes so much work and courage to put yourself out there. And most people are not going to really understand and value that work you do. You are going to get tired and drained, especially when you do tarot. It's extremely taxing on your body, both, physically, mentally, and obviously, especially emotionally and psychically. Maybe this isn't the case for everyone, but for me, I realized it is. And it made me really see truly how sensitive I am to energies and people's emotions. Not to mention, around the same time I started doing YouTube publicly, I also started working at a funeral home, which that can be a story for a different video if you guys would like that. So needless to say, the emotional wear and tear I was going through in the past 3 years was definitely gradually becoming more and more as I was working out and trying to balance all these aspects of this new phase in my life. The Two of Coins in the Minor Arcana is really a great example of what I often struggle with. All these things I want to do and ideas I have, but I only have 2 hands to juggle with. Something has to give eventually, and it's true. The universe will slam certain doors in your face and make things 10 times harder when it's no longer meant for you. And when it's no longer meant for you, it means there is truly something out there that will make you a whole lot happier. And deep down inside, you probably already know what it is. But it can be extremely hard and scary to break away from something familiar and safe. We all go through it. It's the natural ebb and flow of this fool's journey. The major arcana as the fool's journey is no joke. It is a pretty accurate representation of what we all go through, whether we are aware of it or not. And once we have experienced all the lessons of one phase, we get to that grand moment of the world, complete and wiser, to only just turn our back once again from the sun to stare down at that unknown precipice before us, with a choice to leap and trust or stay tethered to the edge, always wondering, what if? And with that said, thank you all for watching and listening to this strange mind dump, essentially. I hope that it was at least interesting and helps you to understand a bit of my experience. If there are any topics or points within this video you would like me to go more in depth on, please do let me know in the comments. And of course, don't forget to check out my other links in the description to help support me and the work that I do. I will have links to this artwork that will be available over on my Redbubble. You could also download the coloring page over through my Patreon. I'll have a link to that as well. And once again, thank you all, and I will see you in the next one.